podcast. I'm your host, Debbie Weiss, and thank you so much for joining me today. As I record this, it's a beautiful Saturday afternoon here in New Jersey after many, many days of rain. And I was out shopping for an outfit this morning for a keynote speech that I'm giving in June. So, I don't know why I feel the need to share this with you, but I do. If you're watching on YouTube, as I'm sure you can see, I haven't showered. My hair is a mess, even worse than usual because I've been just putting things, on and off over my head in the dressing room. And I came home and I thought, you know, I thought about this yesterday. I don't know why it popped into my head. I just have such a need to share it. I wanted to yesterday, but there was just too. Oh, I know, because I had to drive down to my son's school because he got a wonderful award. And I wish I could remember the name, but it was basically an honor for top GPA and teacher recommendation and all these other things for an economics major. There was about maybe four other kids who got it. So it was really cool. So I went down and back yesterday. So the reason I share with you what I look like is because I reflect and I think to myself, gosh, how much I have changed. Because in the beginning, and I think I mentioned this a few podcasts ago, oh my gosh, when I first started, I wouldn't record anything until I looked good and I knew exactly what I was going to say. And I had my makeup on and my hair done. And you can only imagine how difficult it was for me to make a video. And when I let all that go, because I don't know about you, I can't stand going on someone's page and they are always perfect. They're always perfect. And I have to tell you, and maybe you too, I'm guessing, because we're human. Yeah, there's a few days a week that maybe I'm looking my best, but for the most part, I'm not. And I don't really care anymore. I mean, sure, I don't want to go out looking, you know, awful, but I don't know, something happens with age where you just don't care as much. You want to look at me, you want to judge me, you want to draw conclusions, have at it. It makes no difference to me because I know who I am. I'm comfortable in who I am. It took me 61 years to get here, but now that I'm here, I have no reason to apologize. So, with that said, I don't know if this really has something about my topic today. Maybe it does. It's going to be short and sweet because it's something kind of so basic, but once I finally embraced it, it really does make a difference. And I think I'm sharing it and it popped into my head because I realize it's something that I need to readdress. And that is cleaning up our incompletes and messes. What do I mean by that? I mean little things that you have been putting off. It could be something about your physical space, it could be something about your emotional space, something with a relationship, some kind of energetic clutter. But I, growing up, was a slob. I'd say, Mom, if you're listening, happy birthday. I was a slob. My mother used to always go crazy, and I get annoyed and say, just close the door and don't look. And it was always, how could you live like that? And I don't know. It was easier than hanging up my clothes or putting it in the right place or putting my laundry away, like just live out of the laundry basket, that kind of thing. And it took me many years when I think probably when I first had my own apartment that I started to take pride in my surroundings. And I realized just like, it was almost like, well, nobody's going to tell me anymore that I don't need to make my bed. But what I learned is when I do make my bed, which is practically every day, of course, today I didn't because I rushed out the door because I was late. But I don't feel good the days I don't make my bed. Now I just walked upstairs to put something up in my room and I looked at that bed all disheveled and it's this little feeling. It's not this overpowering, oh my goodness, my day is ruined because of my bed. Or I'm thinking of physical things right now. My day is ruined because every time that I walk in, I look at this little like counter or desk on, I still call it my side. Gary had a side, and this is in our kitchen. Gary had a side and I had a side. So I look at my spot on my side and I'm like, the magazines are starting to pile up. Or I'm starting to stack things, and that little stack, when you just put one thing on it and then it all like slides down. So it's no longer in a neat stack. Or you open up the drawer to grab a scissor or a rubber band or whatever, your junk drawer, and you can't find it because there's so much crap shoved in there that you can't find anything. And all of these little things, they're like, oh gosh, once my son's therapist, when he was a teenager, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but this visual comes to mind. Think of like a round styrofoam ball. And each of those little things, those little annoyances that you are not taking care of, poke a little hole, like a little, think about putting a pin in that styrofoam ball, and it starts to add up. All those little under the surface pinpricks, they're draining your energy, whether you realize it or not. I do this all the time with emails. I'll be like on my phone, I'll look at an email and I'll think, oh, I don't know what to say, so let me think about it later. Or I don't have the time. Let me just see what else is in that email in this 10-minute window that I have. And either I forget about it, or then I go back to my desk later or the next day and I think, oh my gosh, I can't even like start what I wanted to work on because I really should be answering these emails. Think about that feeling as opposed to sitting down and opening up my computer and everything is fresh. No big numbers in my inbox, which I always seem to have. No, nothing pressing. Like I have taken care of everything. It's like a clean blank slate. It's this feeling of calm, and it's almost like, it clutters your mind. All of these things, these little annoyances, these little pinpricks, they're draining our energy. So by the time I sit down to record this podcast, or today, whatever I have all this other stuff I was going to work on, I first have to either look at that email list or the junk that's around here that maybe if you're listening, you can't see. And of course, you can't see it because I try not to keep it in view if you're watching online. But I can see it out of my eye, it's disturbing, it's distracting, and they start to add up. How about all the unfinished home repairs? Oh gosh, I know it was after Gary died because I remember that I had to FaceTime my brother. I couldn't open the screen door from my laundry room into my garage. And I only come in my house really through my garage. And I couldn't get in. Something with the lock, it got jammed, and my brother was on the phone with me trying to get me to bust open the door. I eventually did it, but he told me, get some tape and block off the lock so it can't lock itself. And so I found some black electrical tape and I taped, and you can imagine how attractive this is. Every single time I walk into my house, there's this door that doesn't close with black electrical tape hanging off because it's still the same tape. I guess I did a pretty good job. Now it just hangs off a little bit. That I must look at it every day, and I don't even notice the undercurrent of what's that doing to me. First, I see the door with the black electrical tape. Then I walk into the house and I see my side with the stack that's starting to fall down. And then I look in my laundry room and I see a pile up of laundry, or laundry that I didn't take upstairs, right? and it starts to add up. It starts to drain my energy. It really does, and it's almost like I can't move forward, or I can't move forward I can't show up in a way that I would have if I didn't have all these nuisances. None of them seem like a big deal, right? Maybe it's a conversation that you're avoiding. Oh boy, I have done this a lot of times with friends, for sure, with team members that I need to have a tough conversation with, but I can't bring myself to do it. And so all I'm doing is thinking about it. And these aren't like those types of things, at least for me, aren't equivalent to my messy side in the kitchen. These are really weighing on me. And, about 2 years ago, I remember I was having that situation with one of my team members. And I really thought to myself, nope, I am not going to let this drag on. And before I could think about it, I called her in and I just, boom, said it. And I can't tell you how great I felt after that was over. I didn't have to walk around for days or weeks or sometimes months worried about this and then feeling stressed every time I saw her and something happened and I was annoyed and I didn't have the conversation. A whole thing. It's like it's mentally distracting. How can you focus when you have like all of these messes going on around you? So, this is why taking the time to clean up our messes or things that aren't complete are a huge help to us. They're kind of like clearing the space. It's like, and I'm not an artist, but I can only visualize. What do? You clear the space around you to make room for all of your paints or chalks or your canvas or whatever it is. You're not like doing it in a bunch of slop around you. It just, it's like just thinking about it, it just makes me take a deep breath and kind of makes me smile. How do we do this? First of all, if you're not driving, I need you to really make a list. What things, ask yourself, what am I tolerating? What do I keep thinking about, but I'm not doing it? I'm not acting on it. Make a list. Make a list. Are there conversations, like I just said, that you need to have? Maybe it's something that, with relationships, it's setting boundaries with someone, forgiving someone. And that's another big one. Honestly, when I was thinking about this, I wasn't thinking of, to me, that's a big thing to work on. I'm just saying, I think it's easier to start with some of these physical or electronic things. It could also be how many apps you have on your phone. My photo library, I thought about this yesterday. Oh, I just don't click favorites. I don't create an album. Then I can't go find something. I don't go back and delete all these videos that I make for social media. I just record them and then I never go back and delete them. I don't need them again. God knows I don't want to watch them. I'm tired of seeing and listening to myself. So make that list. And then every day, what's one incomplete I can clean up today? Don't make it overwhelming. If it's too much, you have to break it down. It's just like anything that we've talked about. It can feel overwhelming, especially if you make a list and you have 30 things on the list and you think, oh, forget it. I'm never getting this done. And let me tell you, you get it done and new ones pop up. And that's okay, because once we're aware of it, once we see how good it feels to actually clean up our messes, then it's something you want more. Cleaning up just one junk drawer takes 10 minutes. And wait until you see how good you feel, and you know what's going to happen. You clean up that one drawer, and if you happen to have another 5 or 10 minutes, you are on to the next, because you want that feeling. I love that feeling when I walk into my bedroom and my bed is all made and everything's in the right place and my pretty decorative pillows are placed lovingly on the bed. It feels good. It's calming. It calms us. We don't realize, like I said, those little pinpricks. Think about over time the tens of hundreds of thousands of pinpricks. And eventually, what happens to that styrofoam ball? There are holes everywhere. Your energy is draining out of every pore of that styrofoam bowl. So we can't let this happen. It's something that we really need to pay attention to. Please, let me give you some other examples before I close it out. Okay. How about unpaid bills or ignored financial paperwork? A medical bill or a subscription charge. Oh my goodness, I just had this actually with my cable company. I tried to do something to get one of the charges for a subscription service off, and the cable company told me that I purchased it somewhere else. I don't remember what they told me. And then I went to somewhere else and they said, no, you got to go back to the cable company. And so what I do, I got frustrated and I ignored it. And then I'm looking at my bill thinking, why did it go up? And I get reminded there's that darn $10 charge. So you know what? The other day, I couldn't stand it. 40 minutes on the phone. And to be honest, I still don't really know if she resolved it, the woman that I spoke to, but I'm going to stay positive and I'll see when I get my next bill. But hopefully I finally handled it. How about unreturned calls, texts, and emails? I already talked about cluttered or disorganized spaces, junk drawers, closets, your car, and your email box, unfinished home projects, a leaky faucet. You know, for me, actually, one of the lights I needed to replace a light bulb in my bathroom. And every day I go to get ready and I'm like, it's just not as bright in here. And I look up and I think, oh, yeah, I got to see where I put that light bulb. But I haven't done it yet. There you go. There's an incomplete I need to take care of. Conversations you've been avoiding, commitments you've made, but you haven't kept that commitment yet. I got one of them I just noticed in my email box. How about health-related procrastination? I'm going to make that doctor's appointment. I just don't have time now because probably you're afraid to go to the doctor. I would be more afraid of not going to the doctor or starting a new healthy habit. Drink more water, eat more fruit, all that. Overdue thank yous or acknowledgments, unmade decisions. Ooh, that's a good one. That takes up a lot of brain power. I mean, should I leave this job? Should I start this project? Should I break up with my boyfriend? And the digital clutter, as I already mentioned. These are just a few examples. If you didn't already download my free Kickstart guide, which of course I should have checked because I can't remember the exact title, but it's How to Kickstart Changing Your Life. And I know that in that guide, there's an area for you to list all of these incompletes. So it's free. Just go to debbierice.com/kickstart and grab your copy. I would love to hear. Maybe you've come up with an incomplete or a mess that I haven't mentioned. Please email me at debbie@debbierice.com or DM me on Instagram at debbie.r.weiss. What mess will you clean up today? I'd love to know. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.